showing you how to find the slope of a line algebraically. Just to review the types of slopes we have talked about, if the line increases from left to right, the slope is positive. So I'm going to draw a little picture over here for you. This is a positive slope. If the line decreases left to right, the slope is negative. If the line is horizontal, the slope is 0. And if the line is vertical, the slope is undefined. So vertical line, the slope is undefined. So we are going to use the slope formula when given 2 points on a line to find the slope of the line. So here's our formula. M, which is the slope, we're going to find the change in y by subtracting y1 from y2 and dividing that by the change in the x value by subtracting x1 from x2. So you should end up with a slope where you have the rise over the run. Slope is a ratio of the rise and the run. Okay, so the first example is we have a point at -2, 3 and 6, -1. So what I'm going to do first is label one of my points point 1 and one of my points point 2. Now each point has an x and a y. So my first one, I'll make this x1, y1. And my second point, I will make x2, y2. It doesn't matter which one is 1 and which one is 2, as long as the x and the y1s are together and the x and the y2s are together. So now I'm going to use this formula to find the slope. So my formula is y2 minus y1 on the top of my fraction. So y2 is -1 minus y1 is -3. x2 minus x1 would be 6 minus -2. All I did was plug those in. So this minus sign here will be there every time, even if the number is negative. Now to simplify this, I would change that double negative into a plus. So this is going to become -1 plus 3. And this will become 6 plus 2. So my final slope will be 2 over 8. And that can be simplified to 1 over 4. So my slope is 1 over 4. Number 2, label the points x1, y1, x2, y2. Now we'll plug it in. y2 minus y1 is 0 minus 6. x2 minus x1 is 3 minus -5. Now to simplify, this is 0 minus 6 is negative 6. The bottom becomes 3 plus 5. So now we have negative 6 over 8, which simplifies to negative 3 over 4. Now, if you're not sure how to simplify a fraction, I'm going to let you cheat and use your calculator. Put that fraction into your calculator, negative 6 over 8, or negative 6 divided by 8. Put that in your calculator. It's going to give you a decimal, and then you will convert it using that conversion button, convert it back to a fraction. And that should give you, oops, not over 8. Sorry about that. That should be a 4. Negative 3 over 4 is my slope. Now, let's look at numbers 1 and 2. If my fraction is positive, like in number 1, there's the bell. If my fraction is positive, then I have a positive slope. And that means my line will slant upwards from left to right. Now in number 2, my slope is negative. A negative slope decreases from left to right. So this is going to be a negative slope, and it's going to have a downward slope. Let's look at number 3. We have x1, x2, y1, y2. y2 minus y1 is negative 3 minus negative 3. x2 minus x1 is 2 minus negative 4. I'll simplify this. This should be negative 3 plus 3 and 2 plus 4, which gives me 0 over 6, or anything, 0 divided by anything is just 0. So my slope is 0. What type of line has a 0 slope? Come back to your reference here. A horizontal line has a 0 slope. So my slope is 0, and this will be a horizontal line. Number 4, label the points. And plug it into the formula. y2 minus y1 is 2 minus negative 7. x2 minus x1 is 5 minus 5. To simplify this, we have 2 plus 7 over 0, or 9 over 0, but anything over 0 is undefined because you cannot divide by 0. So my slope is undefined. An undefined slope is a vertical line. So my slope type is undefined, and the sketch would be a vertical line. Okay, now I want you to pause the video and do these 4 problems, and then come back and see if you got them right. Pause the video, do these 4 problems, and come back and see if you got them right. Okay, hopefully you have done the problems now and we can solve them. So m equals, let's label this first, x1, x2, y1, y2. So we should have negative 17 minus negative 17 over negative 15 minus 16. Let's rewrite this as negative 17 plus 17 over negative 31. So negative 17 plus 17 is 0 over negative 31. 0 over anything is just 0. So this is a 0 slope, which makes it a horizontal line. Number 6, hopefully you've already done this on your own, and you're just checking your answers. 10 plus 5 because it's minus a negative, and 18 plus 2 because again it's minus a negative. So that would be 15 over 20, which simplifies to 3 over 4. Now again, if you're not good at simplifying fractions, I'm going to let you cheat. Use your calculator, put that fraction in, press enter, you're going to get a decimal, and convert that back to a fraction, and you should get 3 over 4. Now because that's a positive slope, positive 3 over 4, this is a positive slope. So my line will slant this way. Number 7, you should have already solved it yourself. You're just checking your answers. We have negative 12 plus 1 because it's minus a negative, and 11 minus 11. Now I can already see that my bottom number is going to be 0, which makes this an undefined slope. It doesn't even matter what the top number is. If the bottom number is 0, it's an undefined slope, which is a vertical line. Number 8, checking your answers. Eight minus 2 and negative 2 minus 16. So 8 minus 2 is 6. Negative 2 minus 16 is negative 18. And again, this will simplify to negative 1 over 3. Now, because it's a negative slope, I know my line is going to slant down. So that's what you'll be doing on today's practice.